Did anybody else hear today that William Barr, the new prospective replacement for Jeff Sessions, says he's going to go back to the Cole memo? We could have a moment for William Barr and Jeff Sessions going away. Cannabis is a product whose day has come. Look, this is all about cannabis brands at scale. We are a cannabis brands company using distribution as a tactical weapon in the California and Oregon markets and beyond to grow brand equity in the space. And it's a super exciting business. At the end of the day, though, it's all about that end user and the customer. They're looking for safe, trustable cannabis experiences that they can have over and over and over again. Now, who doesn't want to own the Johnny Walker, Macallan, Coors, Molson, Lay's potato chips brands of the cannabis era? That's really the opportunity, and it is an extraordinary opportunity across North America and Europe when you think about the notion that we're actually transitioning. We're not growing a new market, we're transitioning a market from the black market status to legal. There's $80 billion of cannabis moving around North America today. The vast majority of it is in a black market. The reason why this opportunity is so exciting is because the rate of change and the rate of adoption for consumers in states where cannabis is legal is off the hook. So look, this is a rapidly growing business. We exited 2018 at a $72 million run rate. Our current market cap on the CSE under the ticker symbol DIME is just in that $280 million zone. In the month of December, we delivered over 40,000 cannabis deliveries to individual consumers. We served over 700 plus dispensaries in the state of California and Oregon, now expanding to Nevada and beyond, and we have over 400 employees. This is a business, this is a cannabis business that's operating at scale today. Look, it's services. We exist in the ecosystem serving both supply chain participants like farmers, manufacturers, and processors, and we reach consumers through traditional retail distribution and direct-to-consumer. We are the largest direct-to-consumer fulfillment platform in the industry, again, with hundreds of drivers in the Bay Area. And the big news about direct-to-consumer published in the last few weeks by the state of California is the outside-in rule. Regardless of whether a jurisdiction or a town has outlawed cannabis retail, you can now deliver cannabis to any consumer anywhere in California. And as the largest direct-to-consumer fulfillment platform, tens of thousands of deliveries a month, over 1,500 a day in just the Bay Area, we are super excited about the opportunity to scale this part of the business and capture more of the margins. Now, we have a growing portfolio of award-winning brands. You could have pinched me the other day. I was thinking about what I would say to my mom when I called her and said, "Mom, we won the Dope Cup." You know, 40 years ago, that would have been a completely different conversation. Mom's an investor, so of course she was absolutely thrilled to hear that we won the Dope Cup with our Winberry Farms product. It's very, very early in the brands space, right? There are thousands of products competing for customer attention in California today, and when I say thousands, I literally mean thousands. And our thesis is that scale will be critical to being able to drive real relationships, persistent, sustainable relationships with consumers throughout California and around the world in these branded experiences. Now look, we are at our heart a Silicon Valley-driven business. The leadership team is a Silicon Valley technology gang. The last business that I built went from a handful of employees, 17, to 400 plus, and couple $1 million in revenue to 100 million over 5 years with a big exit from a German media company. We think technology and persistently chipping away at the inefficiencies in the value chain are key to winning. And as I articulated earlier, the largest cannabis market in the world is now a direct-to-consumer stronghold. And we believe As goes California, so goes the nation. During our RTO financing, we talked about the notion that we were currently operating in California and Oregon, and that we had our sights on Nevada, Colorado, and Massachusetts. We recently announced Nevada, which will have direct-to-consumer on the medical side. We're super excited about some of the work that's being done in Colorado by the team, and you can see the news coming from Colorado promulgating direct-to-consumer regulations, and the same is true in Massachusetts. The technology we use to bring cannabis to consumers in this manner will roll out across the country in the months and weeks ahead. If you're driving around San Francisco, it's inevitable you'll run into one of these billboards. Chill is our brand for direct-to-consumer. It's growing at an explosive rate. We're super excited to be in market under this brand, as well as supporting others like Ease. Look, every business we can think of has been impacted by big data and the work that's being done in Silicon Valley. We believe that cannabis is no different, and our leadership team is investing in both the infrastructure and the capacity required to leverage the data insights that we see, data from the supply chain back to the producers, as well as all the way through retail at the dispensary channel and direct to consumer. We believe we are uniquely positioned to use this data to drive more efficiency and to drive and seat better products for customers throughout the ecosystem. And again, this is a real business. It's running. There's 72 million when we exited the year. In our RTO deck, we talked about doing 197 million bucks in 2019. The team is hard at work. It's a 8% month-over-month growth story for the existing core assets. It's inorganic growth that now includes Nevada. We dropped that press release last week. You'll hear more about Massachusetts in the days ahead. You'll hear more about Colorado in the days ahead. The team has all the assets on the playing field they need today to deliver the 197, and all I can say is I think this is the year when execution becomes the defining value characteristic for cannabis companies. So as you continue to check in with your cannabis investments and talk to entrepreneurs in the space and portfolio managers, you'll keep coming back to, I'm quite certain, how's the top line going? What does the bottom line look like? How are margins growing for this business? And look, we are already operating at scale. This is a hyper-growth Silicon Valley data-driven business. You'll see us continuing to drive margin growth in our business as the company scales. We went public with the help of Cormark, Canaccord Genuity, and the folks at Beacon Securities. The current share price, I think we're a little lower than that today, I'm sorry to say. With a little bit of your support and help, that number may go up some. We'd be delighted to see it. The average analyst price target is today almost 2x what we're currently trading at. We got out on November 30th, one of the toughest days in the cannabis market ever, and we were super excited to get there. Look, this is a business whose time has come, right? You can't think of any other consumer packaged goods industry where brands matter or brands don't matter, and distribution is a key part of the ecosystem. Whether it's liquor, whether it's tobacco, whether it's food, and soon cannabis, brands and distribution work together to make retail work and direct to consumer. And we are just super excited about both the scale that we're operating at today and the pace of execution that the team is demonstrating. There's about 76 million shares outstanding. Tomorrow you'll see some news about a debt instrument coming online. Look, this is a business that's growing at a rapid rate, led by a leadership team that understands what it means to look around the corner, anticipate the challenges as we go from 70 million bucks to 200 million bucks, 400 million bucks and beyond. And I really like the way it's shaping up. Now, this is the leadership team on the left. These are seasoned executives. Peter Campion, our CFO, was the CFO at Metrum Health. Really the first sort of high watermark transaction in the cannabis space when it was acquired for $430 million by Canopy Growth years ago. Peter joined the DionyMed team when he heard our story and agreed that this was the place to go. Pete Hilliard, a chief operating officer, he and I worked together at a big technology company before he joined us at DionyMed. And earlier this week, we announced the appointment of Michelle Sitton, a former Nestle product marketing and chief marketing officer guru, someone who also helped the team at Curaleaf develop an award-winning portfolio of brands. On Monday, Michelle started her first day as the chief marketing officer at DionyMed, and we're super excited to have her on the team. We've bought other businesses, and these cannabis operators, whether it's Evan Tannenbaum, our president of California, Philippe Recalde, our whiz-bang technologist who does logistics tech like you can't imagine. Look, it's not easy to manage inventory on a dynamic basis across 200 vehicles that are delivering cannabis to 1,500 people on a given day. We are uniquely positioned to bring technology to bear to serve customers in ways that they prefer to be served: efficient, convenient, safe, secure, and it's this team that's making it happen. Dustin Jessup, one of the most grounded guys I know, and Kevin Spence, our VP of Manufacturing. This is the management team, and it continues to grow and expand as we grow the business. And that's the DionyMed story. Let me take questions, or just race to your phone to place an order. I'm telling you guys, today is the day to be buying stock. It's going up, it's not going down, so put your orders in now. What questions can I answer for you? The last time I looked, it was lower than I wanted it to be. So you can play a role here in making it go up. It's $3 and change. And look, you know, we've seen this before. You know, companies have to get out, and then they have to earn their following of investors who are convinced about the story and ready to watch it go. We're super excited about the progress. Thank you. Other questions? Yes, sir. Yeah. Look, the closest comp for us is a great company named Origin House. They have a similar thesis, although they're focused more narrowly in California. And that thesis is, if you own distribution, you are uniquely positioned to drive brands to the shelf. Now, we're different from them in the sense that we also have direct-to-consumer, and we have direct-to-consumer at scale. Of our $72 million, 50% was traditional retail distribution, and 50% was direct-to-consumer. Guys, Dime is the largest Amazon Prime, if you will, of the cannabis space, by far. I mean, by an order of magnitude. There are other players doing this at 10, 15% of, you know, the scale that we're operating at. I like the Origin House guys, and I think the world of Mark Lustig. In fact, Mark Lustig and I, the CEO of Origin House, had to wrangle over cocktails at the Greenwich Tavern almost a year ago because he wanted Peter Campion on his board of directors, and I said, well, it seems a little close, but okay. Peter eventually had to leave the board, and I'm a huge fan of the guys at Origin House. They're doing good work. Well, they own an asset called River Distribution, which very much like us has statewide distribution throughout California. If I was differentiating us, I would differentiate us across the dimension of direct-to-consumer, and we believe that investors will pay a significant premium for a national platform with access to 50, 60, 70% of the US population when federal prohibition goes away. And federal prohibition is going away. The real question, you know, 2 years ago the question is, will it? A year ago the question was, when might it? And today the question is, will the States Act pass? Will federal prohibition go away? Will banking be normalized this year? And I, for one, think the answer to that question is yes. And by the way, for everybody in here, if you get a chance to advocate for cannabis and the feds normalizing banking, please do. For the safety and security of all of the participants in the cannabis ecosystem, this is enormously important, and we can play a role in helping advance that cause. Great questions. Anybody else? Well, if there are any entrepreneurs in the crowd, that's Richard Carlton over there, the CEO of the Canadian Securities Exchange. I just want to give him a shout out for being great at leading the charge for capital markets to embrace cannabis. You cannot build an explosive industry like this without access to capital. And Richard Carlton courageously led the Canadian Securities Exchange through the process to support U.S. businesses scaling into cannabis. On behalf of myself and all the other entrepreneurs, Richard, thank you. Thank you. Okay, if there aren't any other questions, that's all I got. Anybody else? Thanks very much for your time. Appreciate it. Thank you.